day I was very excited. I think it is the quality of wisdom which is still lingering or is manifesting in many Australian wisdom which many have lost because they have taken to the gross side of materialism. Sri Ganesha is a tremendous purifying power. It's tremendous purifying power. Because it cannot be contaminated. But if whatever you may try, it cannot be contaminated. Only thing is it may receive light. It may not manifest. But wherever it is in its absolute form. If you know how to use it, you can purify everyone, you and yours, everyone. So the responsibility of Australians, we must understand, is because they are living in a country which is ruled by Chinese. So first they have to maintain their purity of their being. Many people sometimes think that purity is only limited to the gross side, that it is sensible. Sex life is sufficient. It is not so. That's why Christ has said, thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. Meaning, your eyes should be clean. And as you know, eyes represent your ego and superego. So, when he said that your eyes should be clear, he meant that your thoughts should be clear. Now, what is the generator of your thought? You have to go deep into it and see how thoughts are generated. The brain of human beings, as you know, is like a pyramid. Is elevated to a central point here in a polygon. Is the epitome, is the Brahman. And when this mind elevates to that state in human beings, it goes into a tremendous change of its reactions to its environment. For example, an animal, if he sees a queen, he doesn't think about it. There's no reaction to it. But only in human beings, this reaction takes place because of its conical brain, let's say, that attention that's coming in goes into a parallelogram of forces because we have two types of densities. There is also refraction. And because of refraction, this parallelogram of forces acts in such a way that your attention goes out. And the attention that goes out reacts. And when it reacts, the thought waves start coming inwards. You must have seen a lake. If you drop a stone in the lake, the waves start. And they come to the shores of the lake. And then it is the shore that gives it another wave which goes back. In the same way, when human beings look at anything, they put attention to it, there's always a reaction. Now, according to Christ, we have to have a non-adulterous situation. We know adultery. The word adultery is, in a pure sense, is not so bad. Adultery means there should not be any mixture of what it exists. Simple as that. When we say this adulteration in the milk, we mean that it's not purely milk, but it's something else in it. All right. So when you look at things, say this is water. The water is water. That's all. What is that? But a person who is not realized, so will immediately start thinking about water. Now, depending on the conditioning of the person, if a person is a very perverted soul, I don't know what he will think of the water, because I can't go through everything that he thinks. Sorry, I have certain limitations. But a person who is, say, a normal person also may start thinking about the ball, how much of it was, this and that, all sort of conditioning upon money, okay, because it is money. If he's ego oriented, then his thoughts would go reacting that same. This is the adultery. That when you look at things, there's nothing to think of. What is there to think? Whatever is, it is. But we think by thinking, we solve the problems. Also, this kind of a myth exists among human beings. That when you look at something or you think about something, then you solve the problem. It's not good. It's a myth. Because thinking is just an empty process in the mind. It's like a wave passing towards the shore and think that it can just engulf it or dissolve it. So the thought is just an empty vessel which carries nothing. It cannot do anything. It cannot bring forth any fruit whatsoever. Sometimes the statement might look very big and you might think, how can that be? You've done so much bad thinking. But you have not. Whatever you have done is through spontaneity. Because the unconscious has helped you, has given you the ideas, inspiration. You have done everything through inspiration and not by your own thinking. Now there, you do not want that because then we have to give up our ego. But we think, oh, we have achieved it through our. But when you think too much like that, what happens? The unconscious gives you the necessary information because it has compassion, it has love for you. And suddenly you find something there. You are just pushed into that water where you find. And for this we must know Einstein is the person who said that the theory of relativity dawned upon him from somewhere else. Because whatever is known is already there. And whatever is unknown, you cannot find out by your brain, which is thinking, but by your brain, which is enlightened. Now one, he said, thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. Of course, the adultery, as we understand, is that we should not have lust. But I would go still further to say that our attention has to be so pure that we should not have any return, idea of return coming to us from what we do. But just enjoy, just enjoy. If I see a beautiful thing and I'm just enjoying, not that I should possess it, nor should I think about it, nor do I need that I should repeat it. Just enjoy it as it is. Maybe if you just enjoy it, you will just feel it. That's the capacity one should have of purification. So sometimes people think that Sahaja is a very Victorian sort of system in which you can't live the life like this. Freedom we have achieved, abandonment we have achieved. We cannot enjoy such. But this virtue or this righteousness that we have condemned so far is really the sustainer, is our quality. is our gold, is our wealth, is our property, is our security, which we have lost. And we have to just again have a cleansing. It is there. Because if it is fundamentally eternal, it cannot be lost. It cannot be permanently destroyed. It's like you have seen a brass metal or something like that that's covered with atmosphere, black, red, sort of a color. And again you polish it out, it comes back. But if it is gold, it is untarnished. It is untarnished. But if gold is allowed to rust in the dirty metal or something, you can see it's covered with all kinds of things. And it is just finished now. It exists all the time. Our innocence is not lost. It's there. Only it's covered. Just like the sky will be covered with clouds. It is covered now because of the atmosphere, because of the way you try to take it. That's why I say don't feel. Because if you feel it, then you have a hand which is weak, a mind which is warped, and then you don't want to cleanse it. But it exists all the time. It is untarnishable. It exists within. You have to just get to it. Now Sri Ganesha is the one who does that job. He is the one who cleanses. That not he is the embodiment of purity, but he does that job. Only a person or only the deity, which is the embodiment of purity. As like you can see a soap. Soap is the one which is in quality, is a pure thing, and it purifies too. Supposing it is not pure, it is then contaminated. In the same way, our innocence is absolutely pure. So it is our innocence itself pure. Just see, one which is lying under, which we have always repressed, which we have undermined, which we have not respected, comes to our heaven and shines. It's such a great blessing that we have so many eternal things existing in this earth. Otherwise, human beings would have been finished now. There would have been no trace of human beings away back to going about with their chastity, with their real power of their character. So, when it is very much always invested in every religion that you could be in front of that, sleep life. The reason is this gold that is within must be made to shine. And the brilliance of such a place. You can see a person who is very past life as well, shallow things, sad life, and all kinds of unhappy lives. But a person who is shining once will be that Mr. and that beams, absolutely beams, with the message of Sri the innocence of Sri his playfulness, his joy, joy, enjoying, the way he enjoys joy, the way he manifests joy. He's the source of all joy. Now, in English language, there are no names given to joy. It's only one for joy. And I find it sometimes difficult to describe different kinds of joy that you can have at different levels of emotion. But when you get to yourself, joy is called Nira. Nira. Now, Nira is my name. That Anand is joy. Nira means that there's nothing else but joy. Complete joy. No reaction. Just some burst in joy. that quality also evolves through the quality of Sri Ganesh. It's the Sri Ganesh who evolves that quality of Niranand. He goes into evolution gradually as you see up to our better. That doesn't mean that he goes into evolution, but you can see a seed going into that tree. And ultimately, what we find that we're sitting on top of that tree, joy, nature, the joy that our Heavenly Father has bestowed upon us. Now, the puja part of it, one should understand, is very important. But everybody should not be exposed to puja. Okay? From two points. Sometimes the people who come to puja actually are not really worthy, not worthy. And then they react. They react. They think why this puja, this is of Sabiya, because they are not worthy of it. They have to find out some excuse to justify their unworthiness. So we have to first find out if the person is worthy of puja or not. If the person is not worthy, it's better to leave the person alone till he becomes worthy. Because doubts and all those things can obstruct the flow of vibrations to other people and set a person and create a problem for them. So it is not civil on that person also to be here if the person has not got an open heart and understanding of that. Doing puja to any deity as such is not enough, especially to Sri Ganesha. Those people who do puja to Sri Ganesha should know that, of course, it has to be a Swayambhu means the one that is created by another. No, they can accept. And if they are not realized, they can never worship. We cannot even think. We cannot even take his name. It is so mystical. But after realization, first we have to do is to worship Shiva. Because that's the basis of which what you can achieve. He's the one first who got his fiction, then his revelation. It is the one who opened the path of realization. So you have to worship him before any other thing. The greatest sacrifices, greatest evolutionary ascents you achieved for your sake, become a human being, die, and to suffer like a human being, so that you should not find it difficult. Today, when we say that, oh, it's so easy, how do you get it? We forget that people have done a lot of work to achieve it for you. Create the path. Like supposing I come to Perth. So when I was studying in school, I used to read about Perth. I couldn't. But imagine that years to reach Perth. Don't say just fly out and you are just there. But it's possible that we have achieved this kind of an effect from India to Perth so easily. Because people have worked for it. People have sacrificed. How many people have died eating in their own? How must have had shocks and things like that? We are now just using, we are so privileged to use their sacrifice for our faith. It's all taken for granted. In the same way, spiritual ascent, when we see it's not so easy as it is, but it's worked out. 6 ages. It's very easy. And even your mother has worked hard to achieve. So somebody has done the job. So if it is easy, you should thank the stars, but it's not difficult for you. Instead of doubting why it is so easy, that you want to contribute something to it. But first, take advantage of what is available, and then you can contribute also something more to it. If you have not known an ordinary aeroplane, how are you going to build a complicated one? So first know that whatever is achieved is self-foundation. And establishing it. First of all, it is established, and then you can use it for others, for yourself, and for bettering methods of Sanjaya Benjamin. That's how Sri Ganesha is so important for all researchers to be understood right in its all aspects. But its principle is very not, we should say. It's very spread out. It's very so to understand in its own aspects of it. Only thing what you can do is to become like the ocean. To become one with the ocean, you become the ocean. Just become one, and that's it. But if you use your brains to understand, your brain cannot even capture a beat of it. The best thing is that you just become the whole process. Just try to become one. And those who can achieve that will realize that they have joy themselves. And they have those joy qualities. They have those qualities by which they just get bliss and peaceful. Just maybe that itself is sufficient. I always had great hopes on Australia. And I was sure that it happened. And when it happens, we achieve later results, you have to work hard. And you all have to work very hard to understand the importance of this country, your importance. Just before Puja, I would like you, anyone who has any genuine question, to ask me, because I don't want to see the family. If you have well, especially when I observe, he's the one stop. He's the one who makes you uh, settle down. Word is stop. Like the one in the householder, the one